I've never felt more alive.
Welcome to MsMojo. Get ready to divert some lightning, friends, because today we're revisiting the Avatar, the Last Airbender moments that shook us to our very core.
I'll show you lightning!
Number 10. The Fate of the Air Nation.
The Fire Nation is ruthless. They killed my mother. They could have done the same to your people.
Just because no one has seen an airbender doesn't mean the Fire Nation killed them all. They probably escaped.
In spite of Aang's optimism, his status as the last airbender doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. After all, it's pretty rare that whole societies just vanish peacefully. Even knowing that, though, we were as unprepared as Aang to confront the fate of the air nomads.
This place used to be full of monks and lemurs and bison. Now there's just a bunch of weeds.
The episode The Southern Air Temple introduced us to Aang's world through flashbacks, and having gotten to know his wise and loving guardian, Monk Gyatso, made us feel Aang's loss acutely when his remains were discovered. The unvarnished truth of what had happened to Aang's people hits like an avalanche, bringing echoes of real-world tragedy into what we assumed was just a fun animated adventure. Did we mention this was only episode 3?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It wasn't your fault.
But you were right. And if firebenders found this temple, that means they found the other ones too. I really am the last airbender.
Number 9. Worst vacation ever.
Udi, the Earth King has invited you to Lake Laogai.
I am honored to accept his invitation.
A lakeside getaway conjures up many images, but a state-sponsored brainwashing operation? Not so much. From the moment the gang arrives in Ba Sing Se, it's clear that something is off. However, it's when Jet turns up that alarm bells really begin to ring.
How did you get away from the Dai Li?
The Dai Li? I don't know what she's talking about.
He got arrested by the Dai Li a couple weeks ago. We saw them drag him away.
Why would I be arrested? I've been living peacefully in the city.
It takes a little work, but eventually, Jet is able to recover his memories from the literal sunken place that is Long Fang's underwater base of operations. The secret facility is home to a sinister mind control program, allowing the Grand Secretariat and his Dai Li agents to exercise untold control over the city. And with those methods, they were able to turn Jet into the pawn that would lead Team Avatar right into Long Fang's trap.
Now that's something different.
You have made yourselves enemies of the state. Take them into custody.
Number 8. A Royal Betrayal. We knew Sozin as the Fire Lord who tipped the world into a century of war. So learning about his history with Avatar Roku, it was clear the story couldn't end happily.
You were friends with Fire Lord Sozin?
Back then, he was just Prince Sozin. And he was my best friend.
We watched their brotherly relationship crumble away as the Fire Lord's imperialistic ambitions put him on a collision course with the Avatar. But when Roku finds himself trapped by a volcanic eruption, Sozin still comes through for him.
Need a hand, old friend?
Sozin?
There's not a moment to waste.
For a moment, it seems like maybe there's hope for Sozin after all, until he has a moment of chilling clarity.
Without you, all my plans are suddenly possible. I have a vision for the future, Roku.
Given what he did to the air nomads, it shouldn't really be surprising that Sozin would condemn his oldest friend to a horrible death. And yet, the cruelty of this still caught us off guard. Number 7. Jet's death.
This isn't good.
Despite limited screen time, Jet certainly made an impact on the show. In Season 1, he blew up a dam and only skipped out on becoming a mass murderer because of Sokka's intervention.
Sokka, you fool! We could have freed this valley. Who would be free? Everyone would be dead.
His desire to make amends in Ba Sing Se saw him assisting the gang in finding Appa, which was, unfortunately, just what Long Fang had counted on. Though he is forced to fight against Aang, Jet is able to fight his way out of the mind control and turn on his captor. But Long Fang is quicker, taking Jet down with an earthbending attack. This all happened so suddenly that we were in denial about the implications. Yet, it's got the weight of realism to it, and that just makes it more brutal.
I'll be fine.
He's lying.
Number 6. The Banished Prince. With a chip on his shoulder and a single-minded mission to capture the Avatar, Prince Zuko didn't come off as especially sympathetic in the beginning, until a Season 1 flashback introduced us to a very different version of the character.
What better to use as bait than fresh meat?
You can't sacrifice an entire division like that. Those soldiers love and defend our nation. How can you betray them?
Fire Lord Ozai did not see Zuko's outburst as compassion, but as disrespect. Not only did he demand Zuko fight an Agni Kai as punishment, but he took it upon himself to duel his teenage son.
I meant you no disrespect. I am your loyal son.
Rise and fight, Prince Zuko.
I won't fight you.
You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher.
For Zuko's refusal, Ozai scarred and banished him, saying he could only return with the Avatar in hand. In one swoop, Zuko went from a basic antagonist to a layered and tragic anti-hero. It was a masterstroke of character development, as unexpected as it was devastating.
So that's why he's so obsessed. Capturing the Avatar is the only chance he has of things returning to normal.
Things will never return to normal.
Number 5. Fire Family Treason and Treachery.
Dad's going to kill you. Really, he is.
Ozai is repeatedly shown to be cold and cutthroat, willing to step over anyone to get what he wants. Yet even his own father is outraged when he proposes to jump Iroh in the line of succession.
You dare suggest I betray Iroh, my firstborn? Directly after the demise of his only beloved son? I think Iroh has suffered enough. But you?
In Azulon, though, we see where Ozai gets his nasty streak. Rather than punish Ozai directly, Azulon demands that he kill Zuko instead. Ozai would have gone through with it too, if not for Ursa striking a bargain to save her son and put her husband on the throne.
Your mother did vicious, treasonous things that night. She knew the consequences and accepted them.
While it's never directly stated what she did, Azulon died shortly thereafter. As these family dynamics revealed themselves, we felt less like we were watching a kids show and more like we'd stumbled into a rewrite of Macbeth.
It was cruel and it was wrong.
Then you've learned nothing.
No, I've learned everything.
Number 4. Bloodbending. When Katara meets Hama, another southern waterbender in hiding, she's excited. But as she learns from the older woman, things take a very dark turn. Caught in the Fire Nation's campaign to eradicate waterbenders, Hama survived by inventing bloodbending, allowing her to manipulate a living body in frankly terrifying ways.
Enforcing your own will over theirs. Once I had mastered the rats, I was ready for the men.
Over the years, her rage and grief festered inside her until she started to take sadistic pleasure in using her power for revenge. Katara is justifiably horrified, especially when Hama expects her to continue her legacy.
They threw me in prison to rot, along with my brothers and sisters. They deserve the same. You must carry on my work.
I won't use bloodbending.
When Hama targets Aang and Sokka, she is forced to employ the technique to save their lives. This whole episode was a doozy, but seeing Hama's glee in forcing Katara to follow her footsteps truly leaves us speechless.
My work is done. Congratulations, Katara. You're a bloodbender.
Number 3. Changing teams.
You're not the man you used to be, Zuko. You are stronger and wiser and freer than you have ever been. And now you have come to the crossroads of your destiny.
Zuko went on a journey in more than one sense across the series, but at the end of Season 2, it looked like he was ready to accept a fresh start. And then Azula showed up.
And the only way we win is together. At the end of this day, you will have your honor back. You will have Father's love. You will have everything you want.
It was obvious why Zuko would be tempted. Everything that had ever motivated him was there on a silver platter. But with all his growth, plus his scenes with Katara, seemed to indicate that he was about to join Team Avatar. Then everything changed when the Fire Nation... oh, you know. Watching him throw all his progress out the window left us with our jaws on the ground originally. It turned out to be a part of an even better redemption arc, but at the time, we were not alright.
I thought you had changed!
I have changed.
Number 2, Dark of the Moon.
If we don't defeat the Water Tribe before the full moon rises, they will be undefeatable.
I assure you, I have everything under control. I intend to remove the moon as a factor.
Admiral Zhao isn't the most securely hinged character on the show, so it would be easy to dismiss his, well, moonshot as deluded. Except Zhao has learned that the moon and ocean spirit previously crossed over to the mortal world.
I knew then that these spirits could be found and killed, and that it was my destiny to do so.
When the inevitable confrontation comes, Iroh tries to convince him that his idea would be catastrophic for everyone, not just the Water Tribe. It's no good though. Zhao recklessly slays the moon spirit, sending the natural order into chaos. It was impossible to imagine how balance could be restored, even if Zhao was defeated. Sadly, it was Princess Yue who would give her life to restore the moon spirit, linking one of the show's most shocking moments into one of its most heartbreaking.
Goodbye, Sokka. I'll always be with you.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Not so friendly fire. The Avatar's loss of control left its mark on Aang, as well as Katara.
Zhang tried to tell me that I wasn't ready. I wouldn't listen. I'm never gonna firebend again.
You'll have to eventually.
No, never again.
Toph invents metal bending. Not every shock has to be negative. This surprise was a series game changer from one of its ultimate goats.
It's another one of her tricks.
There's a giant hole in the box. How is that a trick?
It's not. It's the real deal.
Katara's revenge mission. It was a new and disturbing side to the usually compassionate Katara.
Do you know who I am?
No, I'm not sure.
Oh, you better remember me like your life depends on it.
Ko the Face Stealer. Spine-tinglingly creepy, we'll admit that Ko still makes us jump in our seats a little.
Welcome.
Thank you.
My old friend the Avatar. It's been a long time.
The ultimate Agni Kai. This face-off between Zuko and Azula is ferociously personal, with a climax we didn't see coming.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Fatal Strike.
There's too many.
The only way is to let her go.
I'm sorry, Katara.
Avatar proved from day one that it was willing to subvert expectations and explore the shadows. It did death, it did trauma, and when Aang decided to relinquish his earthly attachments and unlock the Avatar state, it fit with themes about sacrifice, but not in the way we expected. Struck square on by Azula's lightning, Aang plummeted to the ground and our hearts dropped with him. You didn't have to be Katara to know this was a potentially lethal wound. In fact, if it hadn't been for her spirit water, it would have been. Ba Sing Se fell, and Azula prevailed. But it was Aang's brush with death that had us gasping in dismay. All these years later, it still knocks us back in our seats.
I didn't just get hurt, did I? It was worse than that. I was gone.
What moment are you still recovering from? Tell us in the comments.
You have no right to judge me, Uncle. I did what I had to do in Ba Sing Se, and you're a fool for not joining me.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.